Have you noticed that some small everyday things have started to change? A dish left in the sink, the bathroom light left on for hours. Has this happened to you? Then pay attention, because these details, which may seem like nothing, can be the first signs of something much bigger. Many people think aging means losing control of your life. But the truth is, the sooner we recognize the signs, the more autonomy we keep. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 5 signs that show when something isn't right, and what to do to regain balance. And the last one might be happening to you right now, without you even realizing it. Watch until the end, because understanding this can make the difference between living in fear or in freedom. Taking care of your health also means paying attention to what seems small, and sometimes all we need is a reminder at the right time. If this message resonated with you, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. And if something similar has happened to you, share it in the comments. It might help someone else too. You may already be over 60, maybe in your 70s, or even in your 80s. And maybe over time, you've noticed something hard to accept, that counting on others doesn't always go as we imagined. People move on with their lives, visits become rare, Sunday lunches turn into silence, and slowly the house becomes quieter and the heart more alert. But here's something important: living alone isn't the problem. The problem is living alone, without preparation, without support, without clarity. Some of the strongest, sharpest, and most inspiring people I've ever met live alone. But here's the thing: they don't wait for danger to knock before they start taking care of themselves. They take small actions every day. They create rituals. They adjust their environment. And above all, they remind themselves that they are still the protagonists of their own lives. And that's what you're about to discover now. Because living alone doesn't have to be a risk. It can actually be the freest, most authentic, and most conscious phase of your life. 1. The daily check-in ritual. Imagine falling to the floor in your own home, feeling your body give out, trying to call someone and realizing no one can hear you. The phone is far away, the door is locked, and the world outside keeps moving, unaware that you're there. That's what happened to Mrs. Marina. She was 79, independent, cooked, cleaned, went grocery shopping. But one night when she got up to go to the bathroom, she suddenly felt dizzy. She fainted. She woke up on the cold floor, unable to get up. She stayed there for almost 10 hours. No one found it strange. No one called. Only at the end of the day did the neighbor notice the curtain was still closed. Marina survived. But something inside her broke. It wasn't a bone, it was her trust. She later said, "It's not the fear of falling, it's the fear that no one would notice I was gone." How many people live like this today? Independent, but invisible. Strong, but alone. And what if all this could be avoided with a single gesture? A quiet, simple yet powerful agreement. The daily check-in ritual. It's just an agreement with someone you trust. If I send you a good morning message, I'm okay. If I don't, check on me. Call. Show up. It could be a message, an open curtain, a visible routine. What matters is that there's a signal, a thread of presence, a guarantee that you won't vanish in silence. This isn't an exaggeration. It's emotional protection. It's self-care with structure. 2. Your home might be betraying you. Everything was in its place. The kitchen chair, the living room rug, the small stool near the cabinet, the same home for over 20 years. But the body was no longer the same. Mrs. Helena woke up in the middle of the night, needing to go to the bathroom. She didn't turn on the light. She knew the way. She took 2 steps and tripped. The wrinkled rug turned into a trap. The cold floor met a fragile bone. She fell. It took her almost an hour to reach the phone. Alone, lying on the floor, waiting for the pain to subside. Her body healed, but her mind didn't, because now She no longer trusts her own home. This story is more common than it seems, and it almost always starts like this, with a small oversight in a place you thought was safe. The truth is hard. Your home might be betraying you, not out of malice, but because you changed, and it didn't keep up. You still climb on chairs to reach things. You walk in the dark, relying on memory. There are cords on the floor, cramped furniture, dim lighting in the hallway. Now imagine, if your balance failed for just 3 seconds, would your home protect you or bring you down? The biggest risk isn't what you can't see, it's what you see every day and have gotten used to. Today, make a pact with your future. Review. Change what needs to be changed. Adjust what could be dangerous. Don't wait for a fall to realize what was wrong. 3. Listen to yourself before it's too late. Some signs don't make noise. They don't knock on the door, don't scream for help. They only whisper and wait for someone to hear. But what if that someone is you, and you're no longer listening? Mrs. Teresa, 82 years old, was always sharp, active, independent. She started forgetting simple words, then dates. One day she left food on the stove and only remembered when smoke filled the kitchen. It seemed like just tiredness, a bad day, but that was her body quietly asking for help, and almost no one noticed. The problem is, many times, we're the last ones to realize that something has changed, because we were taught to be strong, to endure in silence, to not be a bother, but ignoring small signs can be costly. And you don't have to wait for something serious to happen to start taking care of yourself. So here's a simple but powerful ritual. The weekly check-in with yourself. Every Sunday morning, make your coffee. Sit down calmly and ask yourself, how did I sleep this week? Did I feel dizzy, forgetful, confused? Has my energy changed for no clear reason? Has something in my diet or mood shifted? Have I felt like isolating more than usual? You don't need perfect answers, but you do need to be honest with yourself, because denial is a trap disguised as courage. If something feels off for more than a week, don't ignore it. Write it down. Talk to someone you trust. See a doctor, even if it seems silly. Prevention isn't overreacting. It's an act of love for yourself. And if you're thinking, oh, but I'm too old for this, then listen to this with kindness. The body may age, but attention is a form of youth, and self-care has no age. In fact, in maturity, it becomes even more sacred. You don't need to become a health expert. You just need to be an expert on yourself. Know your habits, your signs, and honor the time you still have. Because living well alone takes more than locked doors. It requires being present for yourself. Today's ritual: create a signal journal. It can be a simple notebook. Write the date and 3 short sentences about how you're feeling, body, mind, and heart. It might seem small, but in just a few weeks you'll be surprised by what you'll discover about yourself. 4. When routine disappears, the body feels. Have you noticed how the body feels? Even what we don't say? Sometimes it's not pain, it's absence, it's not illness. It's invisible disorganization that begins when we lose life's rhythm. And when that happens, everything feels out of place. That's what happened to Mr. Juan, 83 years old, always a methodical man. Black coffee at 7 a.m., newspaper on the porch at 7:15, watering the plants at 9, lunch with music at 12:30, then a 40-minute nap. It was a silent dance he had with time, but all of that unraveled. After a silence that lasted too long, his wife had passed, his children too busy, and his routine slowly vanished. One day he forgot to eat lunch, the next he fell asleep on the couch in yesterday's clothes. Then he started mixing up times. And then came the aches, with no name, the apathy, that strange feeling of being there, but not really being there. And here's the point almost no one talks about. The body and mind need cues to trust the passage of time. Without routine, we lose ourselves on the inside. The body loses the signal of when it's time to eat, relax, talk, move, and that creates space for invisible exhaustion, sadness without reason, silent forgetting. But, and this is powerful, you can take control back. Routine is more than a sequence of tasks. It's a subtle agreement with your own existence. A daily reminder, I'm still here, I still care, I still take care of myself. And it doesn't have to be hard. You can start right now with 3 simple anchors. Wake up with a conscious gesture. When you get up, say out loud, "Today, I choose myself." Create a small daily ritual. Tea at 4 p.m., a favorite song at sunset, a prayer at nightfall. Write something down. A sentence, a memory, a thank you. This creates a sense of belonging in time. The mind calms, the body responds, and the day takes shape again. 5. The emergency drawer. The loneliness no one sees until it's too late. There's something almost no one wants to think about. But when it happens, it might already be too late. What if something happens to me? Who will know? It's a question that lingers in the silence of those who live alone, and often it only gets answered in a moment of shock. Mrs. Aurea, 81 years old, was sharp, active, and organized, but one morning she slipped in the bathroom. She fell and hit her head, and stayed there for more than 9 hours, her face pressed against the cold floor, unable to get up or reach the phone. No one knocked on the door, no one noticed she was missing. She survived, but she was never the same again. After that, she told me something I've never forgotten. I realized it wasn't loneliness that scared me. It was the fact that no one knew if I was alive or not. That's why today we're talking about something essential, the emergency drawer. It's not paranoia. It's not an overreaction. It's an act of self-love, a drawer that can save lives. Set aside a small space in your home, a drawer, a box, a visible folder. Inside, place a sheet of paper with important contacts written by hand, your blood type, allergies, medications, a note. If you're reading this, I need help. Thank you for being here. Copies of documents, a phone charger, and if possible, an emergency button or alarm. But more than that, include a plan, a message to the future, to chance, to the unexpected. Something that says, I care about myself, and I'm preparing to live with dignity. This drawer should never have to be used, and hopefully it won't be. But just the fact that it exists changes everything. It replaces the feeling of abandonment with a sense of security. It turns uncertainty into peace of mind. It transforms fear into autonomy. Living alone after 60. At first glance, it may seem like a life of silence and solitude. But when we look deeper, it can also be a gateway to the most authentic kind of freedom there is. Freedom to follow your own rhythm, to wake up with the sound of the wind and fall asleep under the moonlight, to put your touch in every detail of the home, to rediscover the joy of your own time. But all of that only blooms under one condition: emotional and practical safety. And safety isn't just locking doors, it's also opening spaces for care. It's knowing that even when you live alone, you're not truly alone. Each sign we've talked about here is a bridge, a quiet reminder that living with dignity starts with small gestures: a good morning sent by message, a light switch that works easily, a Sunday ritual of listening to yourself, a drawer that says, I thought of me, and above all, the certainty that you deserve to keep living with autonomy, presence, and peace. Because the world still needs you, your stories, your unique way of existing. And if this video lit something up inside you, don't let it go out. Tap like as if lighting a lantern on someone's path. Subscribe to the channel like someone finding a community they belong to. And write in the comments, I deserve to live with safety, dignity, and autonomy, because care begins within but spreads when we share it.